you have a good night's sleep, you don't do anything, but your skin is going to glow. What you eat is what is seen on the skin.
Hello and welcome to Beyond Skin, a skin initiative by Dreamy Derma, where we dive deep into the world of skincare, trends, and everything in between. I'm your host Shruti, and our today's episode is all about unlocking your true potential. Our today's host is Dr. Shefali Trasi Nerurkar. She is a very well-known dermatologist and trichologist with over 13 years of experience. Her insightful and deep knowledge on skin, hair, and beauty will for sure add value to our today's topic, how skincare, lifestyle, and confidence shapes you. So let's hear from her. Hi, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming for this interview. We all know your mom is a legendary celebrity doctor, right? We know that, how famous she is and how amazing work she has done. But I would really like to tell you that, I have been following your journey on social media as well. And I did a small, background research on you as well. And what you have done is, of course, amazing as well. The way you have created space for you, in medicine is amazing. So what exactly inspired you to, join this world?
Well, you know about my mother, but actually I'm the third generation dermatologist in my family. My grandfather was the HOD, the head of department of JJ, skin department, that is the dermatology department. And so the trend of dermatology probably started from about 3 generations prior. And seeing him, my mom took up the same profession of dermatology. And then since I was a child, I kept on seeing, as small kids, we would go to our parents' clinic and we would sit there at the reception, or sometimes we were allowed to, be there in the rooms, because in the older times it was not that formal.
Right.
So I've seen my mother, I've seen my grandfather, talking to the patients, making a difference in their lives, because at a very early age, I realized that skin, which is one of actually the biggest organ of the body, makes a lot of difference in every person, be it, a person who is really, really poor to an extremely rich person.
Right.
So there, I've seen that a simple change on your skin can boost your confidence from 0 to 100. So when I saw, so many stories happening, when I saw live instances where patients have come and, thanked my grandfather or my mother, I was quite inspired. And so even I wanted to make a change in a good way in my patient's life. And that's what inspired me to take dermatology.
So you said so many good things. One thing that you said, people have good connection with their skin. So why people, feel confidence when they have good skin?
So can I tell you one thing? Skin is like the mirror of your body.
Right.
A very simple example. You have flu. Viral is going on all the time. So you have a little bit of viral infection or a flu. Immediately your partner or your friend will tell you, oh, are you feeling unwell?
Right.
And why is that? Because your skin feels done. The same thing, if you're all right, you're happy, then your colleague, your partner will tell you, oh, you're happy, what happened? Why? Because your skin is glowing.
Mm-hmm.
So this itself tells you how a skin reflects what is there inside your body.
Right.
So taking care of this organ is extremely important, and it plays a very important role when it comes to, work-wise, even going to nowadays colleges, going to your presentations and everything. So if you're confident with your skin, the way you're looking, the way your hair is looking, automatically that confidence will have a very positive impact on how you're presenting yourself to the society. So if I have very good skin, I'll be happy about it. I go out there confidently. I present myself in front of my colleagues, my co-workers, my friends in a very confident way. The same way, if I have some rashes on my face, if I have some pimples on my face, then I'll be all the time at the back of the mind. You'll keep on thinking, oh, are these people looking at my pimples? Oh, are these people looking at my pigmentation and rash? oh, what will they think about me? Oh, what opinions are they making about me?
Right.
Those negative thoughts keep coming at the back of your mind, and that really affects your confidence, and immediately your skin will, dull it out, and your confidence will keep going low and low and low. Now, to give you an example, recently I had this one patient. She had double chin, beautiful lady, very good features. And I study aesthetics, so we are taught about how a nose should be, how the eyes should be, how the cheeks should be, how the lips should be. So, and when it comes very naturally now that I've been practicing for the last few years. So I keep checking it out. It's a very involuntary thing. I don't, I don't keep on analyzing them or grading them, but it just, when I'm sitting across the patient, I'm like, oh wow, what beautiful eyes. Oh wow. So the entire face was really pretty for that age. And then she came to me and she's like, I have this huge double chin. And whenever I talk to my colleagues, or she was in some visa services or something, and so she had to interview a lot of people, and she was like, doc, but my confidence goes down because I keep feeling that I have a huge double chin, and all those clients are looking only at that.
Wow.
So in spite of having such a beautiful face, such beautiful eyes and lips, the negativity was only because of that little double chin.
Right.
So you make out it's just a small chin area. Your entire face is so beautiful. She was not thinking about that. That little small part created such a havoc in her life that she had visited quite a lot of doctors before she came to me. So that's how I feel, ki skin is very important. Why? You don't have to be a 10 on 10 all the time. You can have those little blemishes here and there. However, try to have a good glowing skin without any makeup.
Right.
Like you have seen me without makeup,
Yes.
and I think I can carry on with my life in that particular skin.
But you have great skin actually.
So it takes a lot of effort. I keep telling my patients it's not an overnight thing. It's not like a pimple come today, gone tomorrow kind of thing.
Right. I think I relate with what you just said. So that, people do get conscious about the smallest thing, then it's come to their face. So on my first day of work here, I had a pimple. I don't know, right now I don't remember very close, but it was somewhere around that area. But for a week, I thought like everyone will see that pimple. It's like they were looking at the pimple rather than me. So I completely understand what you're saying. But you just said that one of your inspiration was seeing how your mom and how your grandfather, how they affected a patient's life. So do you have a story like that you would like to share with us?
So there are a lot of stories actually that you would like to share. So every patient who walks in our cabin has a story of their own.
Sure.
And just to tell you, one simple story was, a lot of brides are very anxious about their weddings. And so there was this one bride who was suffering from a very common and a very important skin condition, that is psoriasis. Well, she had psoriasis on her elbows, on her knees, the typical sites. But she was so anxious about it, Kerry. My lesions will be seen from my dress, and what will my in-laws say, and what will their relatives say, and what will my relatives say. So that anxiety was not allowing the disease to heal, and it was only increasing by the time her date was appearing. And there were times that, apart from just doing consultations, we had to tell that, you really need to calm down. It is a simple skin condition. It can happen to people and it can go away. It's not something that is going to stay with you. You just need to calm down, apply the creams, take the whatever tablets are required for you, and you will be fine before the D-Day. Finally, she listened to us about a month prior to her wedding, and she decided, whatever said and done, it's just a month now, and there's nothing she can do by, stressing all about it. And so simple medicines, the tablets, we had to increase the dose because of the anxiety. She had caused a few more patches on the body. And so the moment she calmed down and she, started listening to us, the lesion started going down. And she was a much better person, much happier person, when she accepted the fact that, these lesions are there, but she makes the person.
Right.
Those lesions don't make her a bad person or anything. She's a simple, normal human being. So this is one of the story that I would like to put forward to my viewers, saying that skin lesions are there, but you are a full individual on your own. Your skin will definitely define you, whom you are. I'm not denying the fact at all. However, there are other aspects.
Right.
It's not just your disease that defines you.
Right. So, because of what you said, do you think stress or fear manifest, those issues that we face or we think about?
So as I told you, skin reflects what is there on your inside, what is happening inside our body.
Right.
And, stress, fear, they play a very, very, very important role. In fact, there are a lot of studies which say that, stress is making the disease stay longer in your body,
Right.
or not allowing to heal as fast as it would have healed, or in fact exaggerating it whenever you have those spike of stress.
Right.
So that's why a lot of diseases which would have improved faster are taking its own sweet time to go out now.
Right.
Lot of diseases which would have been treated with simple 1 or 2 topical creams that I give now require oral creams, the tablets, multiple tablets.
Right.
So many a times in our practice, we have to tell our patients to go and get some counseling done, because that stress is affecting them. Or there are times when we tell them that, you really need to have a holiday. Just go on a holiday, stop thinking about whatever. It's humanly not possible to stop thinking. However, that change in place, that little holiday can really calm the mind down. That will help me to cure my skin disease.
Right. Is there a difference between how men handle stress and how women handle stress when it comes to skincare?
Well, skincare wise, females are more prone for it, but nowadays I see the Gen Zs are very into skincare. However, if I see an overall average, I feel females are more emotional.
Right.
Females think more about how they look and how they are presenting themselves in front of society, whereas men till now are not that worried about it. Oh yeah, of course, if it's hair, then they'll be worried. They'll not be worried about those 50 pimples on their face, but when it comes to the hair loss, they will be much more psyched than when it comes to females. Stress wise, I would say both of them are handling it the same way. Probably for a married female, with kids and everything, it's an added stress onto them, because, apart from their work, they have to compete, everywhere. There are these lot of memes that come out, and a lot of photographs that you see online, that when a female has to work, she has to, finish off all her back-end jobs, which includes the house, the family, cooking, kitchen, everything, studying, everything.
Right.
Whereas for a man, it becomes a little more easier on that aspect. So I would say the stress, of course, he does have a stress of, providing for that family to the fullest. So we all have our own sets of stress. But as per me, I think I would be a little more biased towards female, probably because I am a female. Yeah, but they handle it, I think, the similar way.
Okay. What is one thing that you wish people would understand about skin health beyond beauty?
Well, skin health is quite intense, but it is very simple.
Okay.
So, and it is not an overnight thing.
Right.
So you need to have you need to start in fact, a good skincare from a very early age. Like when you're a baby, or probably your parents will do it for you by using good massage oils and, baby creams and baby soaps and everything. So that is very well taken care of in childhood. Then comes the adolescent part, wherein the hormones play a havoc, and you start getting a lot of skin problems because of those hormonal fluctuations. And that is the time either you can go really right or you can really go wrong. So that is the time, if you adhere to a good skincare, your skin is going to look good, be better from all those hormonal fluctuations, and only keep going better.
Right.
But during that time, and now I pity the Gen Zs because they have over information about a lot of things, and they start using products which are not intended for them.
Right.
And that's where the skin starts taking a left turn, that is towards a bad skin. So then you keep on, doing something or the other, but still the skin is not improving, and you're not getting the same skin that you have been wanting to, you aspire to have, or you've been wanting to have. So that is the most important thing. Now, when people come to me and tell me that, Doc, I want a skin like yours, I tell them, you know what? I started my skincare from when I was 12 years old. When I was, luckily for me, my mother being a dermatologist, I knew, that it's not going to be an overnight game changer when I'm suddenly 25 or 20 or 30 or 25. So I have to maintain.
Right.
As a little kid, what I could do was use a good moisturizer, a good cleanser, sunscreen on and off, because even I was a teenager at that time, so I didn't give much importance to that. But yeah, sunscreen whenever I could. So that was the basic thing that I had done. And the most important thing at that time was I never applied too much of cosmetic products on my face.
Right.
Now I see 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, they come to me with full makeup on. And there, we are going wrong.
Yeah.
Because what is happening is, it's a young skin. It needs to breathe. And we're just clogging it with all the cosmetic products, be it a concealer and a compact powder and this and that and that. Nobody, as a young baby or a young child, is not going to see you, for your acne or something.
Right.
So there, the skincare starts going down. It's not that I'm, telling that do not apply any makeup, or I'm anti-cosmetic products or anything. It's just that I tell my patients that take care, for parties, for weddings, for your social events, please do. Please apply, your entire cosmetic range of your blushers and this and that. However, in a day-to-day life, avoid doing those same things.
Right.
Let the skin breathe on its own.
Right.
That really helps you have a very good skin, and don't start all these things at a very early age.
Right.
So when teenagers come to me as patients and they tell me, Doc, I want to have a good skin. So I do recommend them, good moisturizers, good cleansers, something that, with nice color and with nice, texture to it, so that, they adhere to that skincare.
Right.
They use that sunscreen and that moisturizer, and I can tell them, let's keep changing it. So they are also very, excited to try new products. And I tell them that this is the schedule that you will keep following.
Right.
Okay. So luckily nowadays parents do get their kids when, they start becoming an adult. So whenever they start developing their adolescence, patients do get their kids just for a good skincare. Doc, my child is getting be it girl or a boy, and I want them to have a good skincare. So there we start the routine skincare, and that is a time when we tell our patients that don't pick up products just because, you're getting inspired by some influencer or an actor or something. Try to understand what is good for your skin type.
Right.
And then if there's anything that you want to add, please tell me. I will see the ingredients. I feel if it is good, then we can start it for you.
Right.
So skincare, I keep telling my patients, is not a one-day thing. Start from a very early age and keep adhering to it till the time you have any skin problem. If there is any skin problem, let's revisit, let's see what is happening, let's treat the skin problem, and then again set up a nice skin schedule. Later on in the age, so when after 18 or something, what happens is, because of the change in the season, I need to keep changing the products also. So in winters, my products will be slightly different than what I'm using in summers and monsoons. So that is also one of the times when we tell our patients, come back, Let me change that little things here and there and make sure that you have a good skin throughout.
Right. So you said that, it's very important to start skincare very early on, right? So what about those who started very late, or maybe those who are just about to start, somewhere near the 30s or was cross the 30s?
So it's never too late to start skincare.
Okay.
Fortunately, our weather does not allow us to not use anything. We might be using some moisturizer. We are always, on our mobiles and social medias. So we do get influenced by that. And we've always been using something or the other. There's not a single person who tells me that I don't apply anything on my face. Some moisturizer here and there. Even a man, for that matter, he will be applying something on his face. A simple moisturizer or a simple sunscreen. Utna to lagate hi hai. Now, my work is to just add on a few things so that he maintains a good skin. So it's never too late to start with a skincare. However, I would say in probably 30s, my aim at a good skincare will be more towards anti-aging, or it will be more towards treating any skin problem that they have.
Right.
Because many a times, see, I've been working for so many years, so my eyes are tuned to what my mind knows. So I know at 30 what to expect in a skin. So when I'm looking at a patient, I'll be like, okay, like you may not observe those changes, but I'll be like, okay, this at 30, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. So when the patient first comes to me and tells me I've come for a skincare, now I've reached 30, and that is the time I do tell them, for 30 you're really doing very good for yourself. However, I do see this problem, and as per your importance, we will start correcting it slowly, one by one, and give you the right products for your for that particular problem.
Okay. So we are just going to do a quick rapid round. So you tell me whether these habits are skin BFF or skin enemy. Right? So stress and anxiety, does it actually cause
Enemy.
enemy?
Always an enemy.
Good sleeping habit.
A very good friend. You have a good night's sleep. You don't do anything, but your skin is going to glow.
What about good diet?
Of course, a friend. What you eat is what is seen on the skin. If you're eating healthy, if you're eating good food, good salads and fruits and everything, it is going to make your skin glow. It is, you don't require anything else to make that shine on the face.
Right.
But you have junk food, and it's going to come out in some other way, be it pimples or pigmentation or whatever, hair loss or anything.
Right. What about screen time?
When it's extreme, it's an essential enemy, I would say. I can't tell you not to work.
Right.
You need to work on your laptops. You will be on your mobiles once you're done with your work.
Right.
So that visible light is a slow enemy and creating a havoc in our lives.
Right.
To give you an example, after COVID, there were two types of people who came out of their homes. One who were looking nice and radiant and glowing, and the others were looking so tired, and they were looking as if they've aged some 10 years more.
Right.
And if you see both of them, the ones who are looking nice and glowing were doing stuff like cooking, going out in nature, going on treks and all those things. And the ones who are looking tired and aged are the ones who are doing, work from home.
Right.
Wherein they were sitting in front of their laptops for 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours. All the time in front of the screen. In our childhood, we were told, stay away from the TV, sit away from the TV. But now, we're all the time stuck to that thing, only a few meters away from it.
Right.
If, the amount of heat that it is generating, that causes a lot of damage on the skin. It's the visible light, the blue light which it is emitting all the time. It's creating a havoc on our skin. Slow skin aging is what this blue light is causing.
Okay.
Heating of the skin. Excessive heating, more your melanin is getting activated, more hyperpigmentation on the skin.
Right.
Again, the same heating is causing the release of free radicals, and that is making your skin age, giving you skin problems, like acneiform eruptions, then pigmentation, early lines and wrinkles all over the face. So that is causing a free radical damage on the skin. Lastly, heat all the time. If you expose your skin or anything to so much of heat, what will happen? The skin will dehydrate.
Right.
So that again, again the early, seeing a lot of open pores, textural changes, the lines, early fine lines and wrinkles, that is making you look much more aged than your actual age.
Right.
So these are, these changes are not wanted.
Right.
We all were working. Our parents were working when they were, younger. However, because there were no such, constant lights on their face, it didn't make them look so older. So there are times when, patients come to me and tell me, "Doc, my mom looks younger than me. What do I do?"
Right.
So, those are the kind of changes that we are seeing because of the visible light.
Right. That's all for this part of the conversation. We have covered some incredible insights, but there is still so much more to discuss. Stay tuned for part 2, where we dive even deeper into how skincare, lifestyle, and confidence shape you. Don't forget to hit that follow button so you don't miss it, and I will see you in the next episode.